by his mother, Sherry Camproni, his sister, Brendon Glenn, and of course his son, Avery Glenn. Avery's playing Little League Baseball today. I saw a picture of him. Looks just like his dad. The family can take some joy in that, but it's so hard for this family to not only have lost their son to the tragic death of police violence, because for those of us now who have seen the video, we know that Brendon Glenn was shot in the back twice. When he was on the ground, he was not threatening. Officer Proctor, instead of following established police protocols and trying to de-escalate a situation, approached Brendon Glenn in a very aggressive way, pulled his hair, hit him in the face, slammed him to the ground. Brendon never fought back. Brendon never, in any way, threatened those officers. And instead of trying to take a situation which could have been resolved peacefully, the LAPD officers escalated the situation, and then, as Brendon was on the ground, Officer Proctor took 2 steps back, drew his firearm, and shot him twice in the back. There is no coming back from the use of deadly force. You don't get a second chance when you've made that decision. Yes, Officer Proctor's off the force right now, but he should be prosecuted for the death of Brendon Glenn. We have been in touch with the U.S. Attorney's Office since District Attorney Jackie Lacey has decided not to prosecute Officer Proctor. We are trying to work behind the scenes to have a federal civil rights prosecution of Officer Proctor to bring justice. We got some measure of justice in the civil system by having the family compensated, but true justice really only comes through our criminal justice system. Because when someone takes a life, when someone shoots and kills someone in the back, they should be prosecuted. Let a jury decide. A jury of Officer Proctor's peers decide whether or not he should be found guilty. Not a district attorney's office who put together a report that was really skewed in favor of Officer Proctor and really didn't take into account the totality of the circumstances, and absolutely just lied when they said that Officer Proctor approached the situation in a calm and peaceful manner. That didn't occur. Brendon Glenn had been put down on the ground by a bouncer at the townhouse here prior to his death. Brendon Glenn stood up. He didn't confront that bouncer. He didn't do anything violent in return to that bouncer. He was just standing there when approached by the police. And he wasn't moving along quick enough in their estimation. And his life is taken. Brendon that day had met with community individuals and had told them how much he missed his son, how much he missed his family. He had come out here to do something for himself, and he didn't want to return home having nothing to show for it. But his intent was to go back. Brendon Glenn spoke with his son every week on FaceTime. His son still misses his father. His son knows who his father is, even though he was very young, 3 years old, at the time Brendon was shot. So the family of Brendon Glenn, Cheryl, Sherry, and Brittany both really appreciate that the Venice community has come together today to remember Brendon, to call attention to police violence, and to remember their son, who was a human being that by all accounts was a very loving human being, a person who touched all of the lives of the people that he spoke with. Just before his death, Brendon had a long conversation with a man outside the townhouse. The two of them embraced after that conversation. Brendon was peaceful that night. He wasn't threatening anyone. And to have a situation result in deadly force when an individual had something to drink that night. But it was Cinco de Mayo. There were a lot of people who had something to drink that night. The fact that Brendon was perceived as someone who didn't have a home, even though he was in traveling, make his life worth any less than the individuals who were allowed to go into the townhouse that night without getting harassed by the police. Each human life is worth the same. And Brendon had a lot of good. He was a good person. Brendon Glenn was someone who had talent, was able to build things, came out here to do construction work. His friend Nick, his best friend Nick Sapici, contacted me a couple days ago, said, Jim, are you going to be there today? I'd really like to see you. He's going to come up from San Diego. I'm sure he'll be here later. He said, Brendon was like a brother to me. And Brendon touched so many lives in so many ways. And while Chief Beck did the right thing in coming out and saying that Officer Proctor should be prosecuted, the first time that an LAPD police chief has come and said that an officer should be prosecuted for taking someone's life. And yet our district attorney, Jackie Lacey, who was elected, frankly, with the support of progressive attorneys like myself, who thought here was someone who maybe could understand the struggles of the community and has ignored their cries for justice. We're hopeful that the U.S. Attorney's Office will do the right thing and prosecute Officer Proctor for civil rights violations.
Yeah.
But we're frankly not holding our breath. We know who is the President of the United States. We know that sometimes that can come down from the top. But when you look at that video and you see Brendon Glenn on the ground and Officer Proctor pulling out his gun and shooting him twice in the back, there could be no doubt that that officer should be prosecuted in a court of law.
That's right.
He should be prosecuted in a court of law. Whether it's murder, whether it's manslaughter, that officer should be in jail for what he did. And at least have our system of justice run its course. I mean, if anybody else engaged in any conduct that was anything similar to that, they would be prosecuted.
That's right.
They would be prosecuted, and the jury would decide. So I just want to conclude with really a message of love and peace, because ultimately, I didn't know Brendon Glenn, but I sort of felt like I got to know him because I spoke with so many people in preparing his case for the family. And the one thing that came across was Brendon Glenn was all about love. He loved the people in this community. He loved Venice because of why we all love Venice. The diversity, the opportunities, his ability to skateboard here, and to have that life taken from him. The family of Brendon Glenn, his mother, his sister, they still carry on that message of love and peace, and appreciate all of you being here today. And just thank you. It means a lot to them that he's still remembered, that he's gone but not forgotten. So thank you very much.
He certainly is not forgotten. Not forgotten.
Thank you, everybody.